Hi Gemini, this is Kay and you're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to your reading. So we're going to get started on your zodiac reading right now, and we're starting off with this oracle deck. Please like and subscribe, especially if this reading resonates with you. By the way, I do, if you're interested at all in pick-a-card readings, I have a Soul Seekers Tarot channel where I do once a week pick-a-card reading. It's called my Sunday pick-a-card reading. Yeah, so what we got here? We've got the calling of the soul. We had that. Who did we have that for? Calling of the soul. I can't remember, but I've already had that card come out with one of the previous zodiac readings I've done this round. Okay, calling of the soul is like your inner child calling to you. You know how like a little kid is always trying to get mom or dad's attention, pulling on their pants. They're standing there pulling on their pants saying, mommy, 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 that kind of thing. Your soul is constantly trying to talk to you, constantly talking to you, hoping at some point you'll listen, actually hear them. And Gemini, you may be actually doing that, actually listening. So let's find out from Lenormand what they have to say. Archangel Michael. Calling on the soul, card number 33, that's mastering. That's a master number. We have child. Talk about inner child. Talk about child. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Card 13, that's all about security, safety and security, you know, foundation. So, let's see what's got the King of Swords in there too. King of Swords, speaking the truth. Seeing the truth, speaking the truth. Black and white. Only the truth. Okay, a Major Arcana, what do we have for our Geminis today? Judgment. Card number 20. Judgment. Making a decision, the divine's calling you. It's a call, the calling of the soul. The divine is calling you, Gemini. Let's get some clarification for judgment. We have the Emperor. Interesting. Yeah, calling on you to step into the energy of the Emperor, making a final decision like an emperor, like a leader, like somebody who has a lot of wisdom to share and impart on others. So he's got a map there. I'm not sure what it is on the map, some kind of pictorials or hieroglyphs, you know, that you find on the side of caves and other rock formations. Yeah, he's got his trusty dog, looks like a German Shepherd. He's holding his scepter. So yeah, this is you're being called to step into a leadership role, but you only become a very powerful leader when you connect with your inner being. Okay, so for connecting with your inner being so that you're answering the call of the soul, what happens is it's the inner child, right, that needs to grow up. The inner child who is wounded. It's a wounded inner child. If you've heard of that concept before, the inner child. If you haven't, whatever, a lot of people haven't. But there's inner child concept where the wounds that have begun from past lifetimes that you brought into experience this lifetime to try and, work through it and heal it so that you don't drag it into another lifetime, that your family will provide for you, the wounds, right? So whatever neglect, abuse, be, verbal, emotional, physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever abuse you've experienced that has caused you to take on certain beliefs about yourself and about others who are supposed to be protecting you, right? And so you might have a lot of fears coming out of childhood that you're now living your adulthood from, like that platform, like this, like the 4. the platform, the structure, the foundation. Not feeling so safe and secure. Perhaps you do, though. Maybe you have been working through it. Maybe you have actually been answering the call of your soul, your inner child. It's when we acknowledge our inner child that we start listening to our inner child, the inner voice, right? That quiet voice, the still voice. Start listening to our inner voice that's saying, I need help. I need to be healed in this area, emotional area, physical area too. That we are going to listen to the soul and try to heal those ows, those ouches, those boo-boos, those things that we've taken into adulthood that is messing up our relationships, particularly our personal relationships, but even can go as far as messing up our finances, of course our physical health, but our ability to be the type of worker and have the type of career that is rewarding. Because you might take on some beliefs from working, having been maybe mistreated or neglected by people in power, like the authority figures that you have, like your parents and your mom and dad, older siblings, teachers, anyone else that you might have felt as though mistreated you, judged you inappropriately, or maybe judged you and you just felt like, you must be a bad person. You start believing you're a bad person because everybody else is shaking their finger at you, right? So it could have been that you had some childhood wounds that you've been working on, Gemini, trying to, heal, to make some corrections and heal. That's generally what it is. It's about the mind. It's about the thoughts, which become beliefs, which becomes patterns of negative thinking or positive thinking. But it's however we're using our mind with the thoughts that our mind produces. Okay, and our mind produces thoughts that have basically been brought in from the past experiences. So whatever thoughts we're having today and will have in the future will be something that is brought forward from our past experiences. And I said yesterday during the pick a card reading on Sunday that I posted on Soul Seekers Tarot, I said that if we did not have a past, if there's no such thing as a past, there would be nothing to be afraid of. Nothing. And therefore you likely could never experience any kind of abuse, because you would be so powerful and confident that you would handle things like a true leader, a true trooper, someone who easily commands respect and not feared, but definitely respect to the point where no one would want to step on your toes, because you'd be so powerful in your esteem, your confidence, and your beliefs about who you are, who you really are, which is the soul, right? Not the human being, the ego. So from childhood, you could have had the foundation that was built on, fears and wounds, childhood wounds, and your soul's been calling out to you, and so you're trying to restructure your frame of mind, because whatever your thoughts are, your emotions, which you feel in the body, your emotions are simultaneous with your thoughts. Basically, it's really that the thought comes in, then the emotion, but it's so fast that it's hard to say, it was my thought first, not my emotion first, that I'm responding to with thinking, right? No, it's you think first and the emotion comes along. And sometimes we don't even have to think, and we feel the memory of the emotional pain that then makes us think of it, to remember the situation that brought on that kind of physical pain. Same with something like if you sense something through your senses, like you smell something, you have a smell, or you hear a song, right away it takes you back to the place and time, the person that where you were, or you were reminded of somebody who really liked that song. Or someone used to smoke a cigar, right? And maybe it was your grandfather, and right away you remember your grandfather smelled like that. So it's an emotional an attachment reaction that we had to smelling something or hearing a song, right? But then our thoughts kick in and say, that's the memory of so-and-so or such and such. Okay, so we've got you Gemini either already answering the call of your soul and healing your inner child wound so that your inner child can grow up and become very powerful. And it is already. But you know, if you're a very powerful, let's say you're just a human being, no soul, right? Not possible, but you know, just say you're a human being and you can be very, very powerful. Until people around you tell you how powerful you are, you can assume it all you like. Until you're able to actually prove to yourself, number one, by proving to others, number two, that you're a very powerful human being, like in power with muscles, right? Powerful. You're not necessarily going to know, or you're not necessarily going to believe how powerful you are until you can actually do something that demonstrates your strength, your physical strength, your muscle strength, right? So until you are able to do something or be told how powerful you are, because you might be lifting, let's say you're just somebody who likes to lift 200 pounds of this and 200 pounds of that. It's just the everyday thing for you. And somebody comes along and says, "Man, can you ever lift a lot? Have you ever thought of becoming a whatever lifter? Professional weightlifter? Don't go into those things. Things that you." Go into those things where you competitions, yes, competition. So, anyways, you are being told by someone else. It's nothing to you. You just lift 200 pounds no matter what. It's kind of like when you grow up with a parent who treats you a specific way, in like a negative way. You grow up thinking everybody's, all of your friends, everybody in school have parents that treat them the same way. You don't know any differently until someone says, "Hell no, I don't get treated like that. Neither does Debbie, or neither does Kyle. You're the only one that's treated like that. I think there's something wrong in your family," So it's kind of the same thing. You don't know any different. You've grown up lifting 200 pounds ever since you're like 13 years old. Exaggeration. But until you know, you don't know. Until you don't know that you're as powerful as you are. The same with the inner being, your inner child. If you don't know as your inner child doesn't know how powerful it is, until you start paying attention to it and creating a very unbreakable bond, deep bond with your inner child, like best friends, besties, right? Best friends. You're loving that child. That's you. You're loving yourself. You can look in the mirror and say, "I love you so much today. What should we do?" Together, right? As if there was two separate ones of you, but you know what I'm saying. So anyways, your inner child needs to grow up, and you do that through spiritual growth, spiritual evolvement, becoming more intimately connected and aligned with your spirituality, with who you really are. And the more you become intimately connected with your spirituality, the more intuitive you become, the more psychic you become, which means you are seeing through the veil that only the high priestess can see through. So therefore you become the high priestess or the priest. You're able to see things, hear things, know things that other people aren't, who aren't evolving in that way. Okay, so let's keep going, Gemini. Let's find out what Archangel Michael has to say about this story. So it's a matter of you bringing your soul to maturity, which of course you don't fully, not to full maturity in any one lifetime. That's where all the lifetimes come in. Okay, we have got the devil. Yeah, something toxic. Something toxic from your childhood, possibly, that you'd been dealing with, that has really made you feel like you were, cabled to. You were handcuffed to. That you just couldn't break out of an energy, couldn't break out of a toxic relationship, couldn't break out of attracting that kind of toxicity, negativity, and you might have been a very angry person. Page of Pentacles, something came along that helped you to see, like she's looking in the mirror, right? It's a mirror, though it looks like it's the pentacle. But looking in the mirror and being able to say, I see you there. I see you, I do, I see you. You know, I see you, the real you, the inner child. I see you there. So it's like the inner child has been calling, and suddenly you look in the mirror and you see the pain on your face. The pain and the wrinkles on the line, the wrinkles in your skin. You see it in your eyes. And you say, what is wrong? What's the matter? There's got to be a better way. Or, why am I so angry all the time? Or, why do I keep pushing people away? Why do I keep losing my job? Why do I, this, that, and the other thing? And when you start asking why, that's when your soul says, because you're me. You're me. Knocking on the door. You're me in pain. You're me needing to heal, to grow out of the pain, to grow out of the memory of the childhood wound that you experienced as you grew, developed, and from past lifetimes that you brought in, then your parents were on board at a much higher level, not this conscious level, but a much higher level where we're not usually conscious of unless you're the high priestess. A much higher level, they're on board with coming in and offering you these experiences. Of course, you are on board with them to offer them certain experiences too that are supposed to help them grow if they so choose to, and the same for you. So then we got the Knight of Pentacles. This is like looking at things from a very close perspective, in the sense that you're not going to be going discerning, scrutinizing, if you want to say, discerning and analyzing, but you're not going to rush into something. What you're seeing and deciding to answer the call, because you're hearing your soul through the pain that you've been experiencing, and you're going to say, this is going to be a process, a journey, okay? It's going to be a journey like the Knight of Pentacles takes. Like the hare and the turtle, right? They're running a race, but it is a journey. It's truly a journey. So you're going to be taking a journey that you are destined, as the Knight of Pentacles energy, you are destined to achieve, to succeed. Okay? You will overcome pain, heal it, and move on to the next, until you feel so much more powerful, so much more confident after looking at a belief and saying, I don't know that this belief is really for me, that it's true for me. Or is it my mom's belief? Or my family's belief? Or the teacher's belief? Whatever. Is it true? Is it really true? I mean, I talk to other people and they think differently about something. Why is that? Because they didn't grow up having those beliefs of those other, authority figures pushing that onto them, because that wasn't part of their life path. That wasn't their journey. It was for you, though. So you can have this belief and say, I believe this, and other people or your friends are saying, I don't see it that way. I don't believe it that way. I don't believe it has to be that way. So you start questioning, like, why is Jack, Jill, and Bob all saying they don't believe what I believe? You might be looking at that and realizing that belief has brought you a lot of pain and suffering. So you're going to be going the extra mile of the journey to try and sort out, is this belief truly yours? And if it isn't, and you say, I'm going to tweak this belief a bit. You don't have to change it out completely, do a complete 180. Just tweak it a bit, and then run with that for a while. And then when you might say, this belief just needs to go. It completely needs to go. I need to have a new belief about this. And the new belief will be more positive in nature. And you're going to start feeling so confident, so powerful, so confident and powerful that you're going to be able to tackle another thought or idea, belief, a concept that you have been hanging on to for dear life. attached to, right? With the devil energy. And you're going to try and find a way to release yourself from that too. And it's going to be a little bit quicker possibly and easier because you've already done something major. You start looking at your thoughts that have become beliefs and negative patterns of thinking. And then you have the sun, which is like enlightenment, full enlightenment, seeing things the way they need to be seen, finding the light in the darkness that had brought you a lot of experiences from your childhood that you needed to, start listening to your child tell you how hurt they were about such and such happening when they were a child. And you caring about that, actually caring about that, not feeling like a victim, but caring, like as though you're listening to another person tell you, and you show compassion and care towards what they're telling you. And so you are going to make the call, answer the call to keep going, to find the happiness that you so deserve. All of us deserve the happiness that we all deserve, because we're healing our ouches, we're listening to our inner child, we're allowing it to grow up, to mature, to become a spiritually evolved, powerful being that's in you, around you, all over you. Yes, it's amazing and magical. We have the Two of Wands. This is sitting at a crossroads. It's also having to make a decision. Having choices, right? Having some choices. And just moving up so we could see all these little cards. Then we have the Four of Swords. That's respite time. Making a decision to follow the light. Okay? Making a decision to follow the light instead of this looks like the hellfires, right? Of the devil. Either choosing to stay attached. I mean, that's what it boils down to. We choose. We're always choosing, depending on what our decisions and choices we're making from the thoughts we have in our mind and the emotional responses to it. Whatever our thoughts are, and the emotional response to it, we're going to try and we're going to do something. We're going to behave from that. We're going to act on it. And those actions are either going to keep you tethered to, shackled to the pain, or releases you from it. Okay? And if you choose to be released, you're going to need a lot of time spent in possibly meditation, but in rest. Resting your weary mind, because you're going to be learning a lot in a very short period of time. You're going to have downloads, spiritual downloads, okay? Especially if you're spending time in meditation or some kind of meditational activity like yoga or prayer or bicycling or walking out in nature on your own. Going in the forest. There's the Emperor. Holy cow. This is big time. Like, he's on his knees, but he's showing his physical prowess. Look how he's showing his biceps, right? He's going like this, I'm powerful. Yeah. And there's a little one, a little me, also powerful. So it's like the inner child. The little you is powerful, just doesn't realize it until you help it grow up. And the you is going to be the ego one, the human part of you that's going to say, I've been experiencing too much negativity. I've been experiencing pain. I'm not growing the way I would have hoped I would as an adult. I'm not developing. I don't necessarily mean mentally, emotionally, emotionally. But I'm not developed, and it's not about being physically developing. I'm talking about developing in the sense that you're finding success in what you do. You're becoming a powerhouse of victory and success, like the Six of Wands, right? The leader, the Emperor, the leader is all about victory and success. He's all four kings. Their qualities of each of the kings rolled up in this, plus this one's wise, and it's wise beyond, what's normal in people. And therefore is a master manifester. Manifests that which it is, which he desires. And this he is not a gender he. He is just the energy. So you can be the feminine Gemini woman who has stepped into your Emperor energy. Wow, that's amazing. So your little me, your little Emperor, is growing up because you have allowed yourself to heal. And that's what it all comes down to, is healing our ouches, our mental and emotional ouches, if not also our physical ouches because of a result of abuse or neglect or whatever. So there's the Nine of Wands. That's about being prepared to take on whatever challenge or obstacle you face, and you're going to face many of them. If you don't know that already, Gemini, you're facing many of them. Maybe not necessarily all in the same day or week or month or year, but you're going to face many of them. They'll be spread out because, as they say, God never gives us more than we can handle at any one time. Three of Swords could be a broken heart from a relationship that you've just been through. The death, it could be the death of a loved one or a pet that you're struggling with. But this is the broken heart, being stabbed in the heart by someone that you cared for a great deal, or something that you cared about a lot, and it's let you down in some way, like your job has let you down in some way because you thought this job would be really rewarding and exciting and interesting. It turns out it's pretty boring, and you don't know if you can do this for the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life. So you're feeling let down. You're feeling as though, oh my God, I got to start over again then. If I'm going to stay here, then I'm going to live with my broken heart, my disappointment, or I'm going to have to start over again and start from scratch in a new company. And that's very disappointing to you, breaking your heart, because you had spent all this time learning this job and finding out that there wasn't more to it than that, and that there's no chance of being to level up or promote because of the way of all the employees that have the same skills and ability as you do, that can be. So you have the chance, but it's the chance of you getting it you might be feeling is so slim that you're even questioning whether or not you should attempt to apply for it. And, that'd be letting yourself down. You should at least try, right? So, Four of Wands. Four of Wands is finding structure and stability in a new way, from a new regime, a new way of thinking and feeling, new belief system. That's the death and transformation, is that Divine has stepped in and said, this has got to end. You've got to end this not paying attention to your inner child's ouches. You've got to end not listening. You've got to end the pain that you're experiencing right now, and all the disappointments and pain that you might have been facing through all the different challenges and obstacles you've been facing on your spiritual growth, your spiritual journey, right? You've been doing a lot of battle, but with the Nine of Wands, you're always prepared to take on another challenge. So you won't shy away from it, which is good, very good. So we have the Nine of Cups. That's all about, wish fulfillment. It's about being able to indulge in life in a very happy and emotionally fulfilling way. Looks so good. We've got the Hangman, and that's you with a new perspective. We've got the Chariot. Because of the new perspective, you're moving forward with a good pace. You got the Fool. That's you saying, yeah, it's time for something new. It's time to take a little risk. It's time to start a new journey. So the new risk could be something like you're going to maybe put more money into investment from your paycheck month to month. That could be a new risk, and maybe in a slightly riskier fund, that kind of thing. Or you're going to maybe instead of applying for that promotion in the job you're in, you're going to apply for another job in the area of work, products and services that you're a lot more interested in and hearing good things about from friends and other people who work there, that they believe that this is the place where if you want to be able to excel in your job, this is the place you can do that kind of thing. So you might take the risk, leave this job, but not until you get that job. That would be the best risk, but do whatever you want. But the risk might be that I'm actually going to spend a lot of time learning how to meditate so that I can, or do yoga, so that I can find out how I can heal that deep pain, that deep psychological pain, the emotional pain of the psyche from having had the experiences I had as a child, and child and teenager, possibly all the way into really young, the early 20s, young adulthood. So you are going to take a risk and take a leap of faith and say, you know what, I'm worth it. I see how much pain is in my eyes, on my face, in my memory, that I'm going to make the offer. I'm going to accept the offer from my inner child to say, let's work on this, let's become besties, and let's find love for each other and our life moving forward. And that's what's happening. Emotional fulfillment coming towards you from within you, because you're healing what's really deep within you. As you heal the ouches that are deeply within you in your subconscious, you actually start growing flowers from your garden, right? Instead of thorns and thistles and things that prickle, that prickle and hurt. You start growing beautiful flowers from your garden. No weeds, no prickly weeds. Maybe one or two, but you easily pluck them out. But that's you finding a belief that you have in your operating system that's running in the background of your mind. Just like your computer or your phone with the app that you haven't closed down on your phone. So you need to find out, like we do, we flick up to see what pages or what apps we got open, and we flick them closed, right? Flick them. This is what you're going to do. Or if you're on your computer or laptop or whatever, you can go into the systems and see what programs are running that is not obvious to you, but they're sucking the energy, the memory power, and the thingamadoogie that works, it calculates. Yeah, power. I don't know what it's called. But it's the kind of thing that it calculates. It can, what I'm talking about. So anyways, you've developed a new perspective. You're seeing, so when we're standing on our feet, because that's you there, okay? You're on your feet. When we're walking the planet, standing on our feet, we're actually looking at the world upside, or looking at our life, looking at our mind upside down. When we stand on our head and hang, to be stuck, to sacrifice, to be put in limbo for a while, we can then kind of go into retrospection, because we're hanging out, you can't do anything. You're tied at the feet and you're hanging, and until someone comes along and frees you, you're there. And so you spend time in reflection, and you're just reflecting and retrospecting and seeing that the reason why I'm hanging here right now, looking at things from what looks like to be upside down, but it's really upside right, because when you're upside down, you're able to see things for how they really are. It's till you actually are stuck in a situation that you don't want to be stuck in, that you actually start looking at, let's say you're put in a room, a dark room, you were being kept hostage, you were fed very little, and you didn't want to be there, and you're kept hostage, right? All you got is your mind, because you can't see anything, and there's definitely no TV or radio or anything else, your phone, nothing. So all you have is your mind. And when all you have is your mind, you start thinking, right? You start using your mind to think, which not like you weren't using your mind to think before. But you start reflecting on what it was. Why are you here in this situation? Why have I been taken hostage? Why am I in this dark room? Why am I being kept hostage? What is this going on? So you have to start mulling over your memory, the people you've talked to, new people that came into your life. Are they the reason for why did they take me hostage? Because they're new in my life, right? I don't really know them. How well do I know them? So you start looking at what has transpired in your life so far. And maybe looking at what you're trying to move towards, that somebody's trying to hold you back from being able to go towards it. So you're going to be doing a lot of thinking when you're in the hangman position, because you have no other purpose at that point other than to reflect, to be enlightened by the divine. The divine helps you by putting you in a stuck situation where you're feeling like you're sacrificing your happiness to some extent, or your movement forward or progress in your work or in a relationship, because you and your person, your romantic person, the person you're coupled with, you're on the outs. You're not on the same page. You're butting heads, and so therefore you're not able to move your love and your reason for being together, move it forward, to progress, take it to the next level. Let's say you're just dating, but you're living together. You've been dating and living together for a long time. The next thing would be is that you want to get pregnant, and you want to have kids, want to get married, all that sort of stuff, but you're just butting heads too much, and it's kind of like, I'm not going to get pregnant by this person, or I'm not going to, because we can't even see eye to eye on a situation that's obviously become a huge obstacle, challenge for the two of you. At work, the same idea. Something is, you're butting up against something, and it's stopping you from being able to be promoted, to be able to level up in this company. So maybe you need to go to another company, or maybe you need some training, some education, that your employers will take you more seriously for a promotion then, and a salary raise. Okay, something like that. But it's all about moving forward with the Chariot, and you will be. Once you look at what's been holding you back, toxic, right? You've been attached to those thoughts and these behaviors. You're taking the offer of, because whatever this is, it's your inner child screaming at you, saying, this pain that you're feeling very, very attached to is because of what you brought with you into adulthood from your childhood, that wounded inner child. You're going to decide to take on the leadership role in your life, making better decisions or different decisions about something, about anything. And the Knight of Pentacles is, this is your journey. Take it slow. Don't be in a hurry. You will be enlightened by the divine as to what it is you need to see, what it is you need to know intuitively. It's going to come to you, downloads of information, a lot of it, and you're going to have the decision to either stay stuck in your pain because of the beliefs that you're going to continue to hang on to, or let them go and relax those beliefs just enough. Tweak it if you have to. Take charge of that. Take charge, take control, flex your muscles, your power. You have the power within you, which is that soul, that inner being, that it's going to feel like it's a tough road, that you're walking up a mountain straight up sometimes, but the divine's got your back, and it's going to continue to help inspire you with the wands, inspire you to keep persevering, going forward, overcoming, and seeing what it is that you have either been holding yourself back, breaking your heart for some belief, or maybe you just said, I'm never going to go back to school for this, because I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school and be a student again. I'm not going to do that. But your next promotion, your promotion will basically command that you have that education and training for it. So then you have to make a decision, right? And that's where you're going to decide you're letting things end. You're allowing the divine to move in and end the pain, basically, because you're transforming your thoughts. This is change, a major transformation, transforming them, finding a new foundation, which is the Four of Wands, a new foundation that is going to be inspiring, but it's secure. It's a secure foundation where you're going to be feeling like, I've got this. I finally got this. You know, life is feeling a little different now that I've decided to think of something differently. Here's you stepping into the energy of the Nine of Cups, of feeling like your wishes are coming true. You know, you might be even manifesting things. The Hanged Man, that's because you changed your perspective. You gave yourself the time and the ability to look at what's been going on in your life that's not been that great, that's been holding you back in some area of your life. You've been looking at that and saying, how is it that I've been holding myself hostage, right? How have I been holding myself hostage, not allowing myself to progress forward? But you are now, you see? And you're taking actually more risks, leap of faith, because you know, you're feeling as though you're much more powerful now, much more confident, your self-esteem's gone up, your emotional intelligence has increased, you're just starting to be a different person, and you're starting to really like that different person. So when you look in the mirror, I love you so much, I really respect you, I dig you. You know, that's what you can do when you grow spiritually, when you listen to your inner child and start healing those inner child wounds. Okay? I hope that was helpful to you. Take care of yourself, Gemini. Bye for now.